Hey everyone, welcome back. Rob GillT channel, all about Cape Town, all about property, all about South Africa, and all about a bit of fun. Today, I just want to chat to you a little bit about how safe your investment is in South Africa. Is it safe to invest in property in South Africa these days? Let's have a look. Let's go and check the video out. So yeah, it is a bit of a strange question. How safe is it to invest in South Africa? Good cup of coffee. Well, it is morning coffee with Rob after all. But yeah, how safe is it? Well, I'll always ask you this question, all right? And I'll always put it forward to you. Investing in property in Poland or France before the Second World War was a great idea. It was perfect. It was the best thing since sliced bread. And we all know how that worked out, don't we? So, at that time, if you'd invested somewhere in Africa and bought yourself a property or a farm which was going for almost nothing, let's be perfectly honest, you would have made a fortune. Granted, it wouldn't have lasted forever because things changed in Africa politically as well. But at that time, you would have done really well from the investment. So, what I'm saying to you is, how long is the string? How safe is it to invest absolutely anywhere? So, if you take South Africa, where we are, for example, and in Cape Town and that sort of thing, Africa's a tough country, and we've been known to weather the storm pretty well. And we came out of the pandemic now, or through the pandemic now, with all its issues and all the rest of it without whining too much. Okay, we sort of just looked for other ways, shifted our businesses, shifted our lives, and we move forward and we keep on going. Where a lot of other people, a lot of other countries are still whining, still carrying on. We're moving forward, we're trying our best, we're fighting and kicking against it, and we're hoping to succeed. So, I say to you, there's a lot of negativity towards Africa, there's a lot of negativity towards South Africa in general, and expectations as will go the same way as Zimbabwe and all these kinds of things. There's no confidence. And I look at that and I think, it's a bit like being a second division team in the Premier League or in the English divisions or whatever the case. We always get overlooked. We always get the short end of the stick. So I ask you the question, and tell me in the comments, would you invest your money now in a property in California or in the USA? And then I'll point out to you, if you bought a beautiful house in California, it might just burn down, or an earthquake might take it out, or Donald Trump might decide to invade China, which would be great for your investment, wouldn't it? Okay. And there are other countries in the world which seem perfectly safe at the moment. You think, this is like a paradise, and then tomorrow everything changes because it becomes bloody well communist, or there's a war, or whatever the case. So I say to you, when you're choosing your investment, always remember this. It's high risk. It's always going to be a risk. No matter where you put it in the world, it's a risk. Are you going to go and invest in Venezuela? Venezuela seems like maybe not. You probably wouldn't want to invest in Russia because you think, Russia, but it's probably a good place to put your money. It's probably a good investment, and it's probably brilliant living there. It's perception and psychology and the way the world propagandas your mind into thinking, and they push you in a direction, and it's just a rant from me, but this direction, this programming of people, like like there's a sheep herder, and they herd all the sheep in a certain direction. You must only invest over there, don't invest over there, and that's where you're going to make all your money. The high risk areas is where you're really going to make all your money. But honestly, South Africa has been downgraded by Moody's and all the rest of it, but it's not the highest risk in the world. Now, these kind of things are very dependent on whether you want to live in South Africa, whether you want to invest in South Africa, whether you want to have Cape Town as a holiday destination and you want to own a property here, and your return on investment in comparison to, say, other countries where you feel that your investment might be safer. So all I can say to you from my side is, living here, enjoying the life here, and not having left here, my life's perfectly normal. You know, we have a normal life, we have a normal, just like any first world country, we have normal cities, normal people, we have economy, people go to work every day, people go home every day, you know, and we suffer similar security issues to everywhere else in the world. Particularly, you know, some areas have higher crime than others, but I mean, if you go to anywhere in the world, you'll have areas that have higher crime than others. I mean, it's not unusual to have an area that's full of criminals, okay, and an area that's perfectly safe. So it's much of a muchness, okay. So what I say to you is, look, some of those areas in South Africa sort of went through an adjustment period, okay, where areas that were good became bad, and that happens in life, you know, that happens to a lot of areas, because they come up with these great ideas and these fantastic towns and all the rest of it, and then suddenly an untoward group moves in and it turns out to be rather horrible for whatever reason. So, you know, you end up with criminals, or, you know, like in the UK, you end up people living on the dole, living in council housing. It was probably a perfectly good area before, and now you end up with guys that need to break into houses and steal cars and that sort of thing to survive as such. And that's what brings an area down at the end of the day. What's happening in South Africa a lot is what we call squatter camps are coming up, where people that are out of work, can't afford a home, whatever the case, put up a tin shanty, and they all tend to flock together and build it in one area. And when it's close to a wealthy area, it becomes a sort of factor that worries you. It worries you about your property value, it worries you about your safety, all those kinds of things. That's happening a lot because, unfortunately, unemployment in South Africa, I think, beats the rest of the world by a country mile. I think we're way ahead of everyone else on unemployment. We're in a really bad state with unemployment. And there's a lot that hasn't even been counted. For example, people that have come into the country from the other countries that are still unemployed and are not properly registered. So that is a concern. That's always going to be a concern, okay? But if you're investing in cash or in companies in the country, I would be more concerned than a solid building, because a building you can always sell off at some stage, whether you make a profit or take a loss. It's a solid asset. So that's my feeling on how safe is your investment in property in South Africa, particularly in Cape Town, actually, because that's where I would invest in property, not in the rest of the country. But you can look at that. I believe Joburg, they're talking about you can get your property cheaper now, and it is going to go up in value because they're fixing the town, and there's a whole bunch of things going on there. So if you want to look into that town, you can. But I just have my preferences. So with that, thanks for watching the video. So don't forget, go down and take the like button for a quick coffee, and hit the button. Don't forget to comment. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the Facebook page, and follow me on Instagram. And don't forget, I sell property. Call me first. And while you're here, go check out my auto parts shop. It's in the description. It's there for all of us. It's a bit of fun. Cheers, guys. Until the next video.